Hello all, Alan here with C.Paribus Management. Today I would like to talk to you about investments and how we at C.Paribus Management can help you. The first thing that I want to talk about today is nobody should tell you what to do with your money. You work hard for your money, so it completely makes sense that you make the decision that you think is best. At C.Paribus Management, what we want to do is we want to look at the deal that you have on the table, take a look at the number, take a look at the possible risks that you're facing, and get an opportunity to tell you what we think. In the end, you are making the decision because it is your money, you're the one doing the investment. So today I want to take an example with you of something that may happen to a lot of people. So let's say you're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you have a friend or an investor that you know that come up to you and says, hey, I have this great investment opportunity. So they tell you, okay, it's an opportunity for you to make money. And you say, okay, make money. Everybody loves to make money, so let's hear it. So they tell you, you invest, let's say $10,000. And in a year, you'll be able to get $15,000 back. So they may also tell you that this is an unleveraged IRR of 50%, which basically means that you're getting a 50% return on your money. You invested $10,000, you get an extra $5,000 back. It's great, right? One of the other things that they might tell you that this is an investment with a high return, or above market return, or above average return, right? And the idea is to tell you that this is going to be a very good investment. You have the opportunity to make more money than the rest of the people usually make when they make the same type of investment. Now, if you don't know anything about this specific investment and you don't know much about investing in general, you tell yourself that, oh my God, this is great. 50%, it's just great, especially if people usually get less, right? So 50% sounds great. If you know a little bit about investing, you're probably going to tell yourself that above average, way above average is suspicious. That said, whether you know a lot about investing or not, the main question that you should probably ask yourself is, why are you getting above average return? Why is it that this specific investment is getting above average return? Now, the best thing that you could think about at this time is that it is not impossible for you to get above average return. It is not impossible. It happens. It happens. People make investments and get very high return at times. But let's think about this. Let's say the average return for the type of investment that you're making is around 20%, right? It probably means that on average, if you randomly take an investment, we're going to say if it's normally distributed, you're very likely to get a return that is closer to 20% or around 20%. Right? It's very likely that you're going to get a return that is quite close to the average. There's some other ways that we could see it, but I don't want to complicate it too much. So if you're getting 50%, it means that you're getting more than double the average. All right? So you want to tell yourself that maybe I need to take another look at what's going on here. And if you really want to know if this is a great opportunity or if someone is probably just scamming you, right? Just dangling 50% in front of you so that you can put your money in there. The first thing that you probably want to do is you want to look at the numbers. You want to ask yourself, where is the money coming from? Does it make sense to you? These are the questions that you probably want to ask yourself. Now, unfortunately, with most people, what tends to happen is people tend to go ahead and just invest because it's a high return. It's an opportunity to make money. So even though people ask themselves these questions at times, they tend to go ahead and just make the investment. In terms of looking at the numbers and trying to see where the money is coming from at C.Paribus Management, this is also something we can help you with. Now let's go further into the example that I just put in front of you. And one of the things that people don't think about is risk whenever they're investing. Now in finance, we tend to say that with higher risk comes higher return. So if you reverse that sentence, you would probably end up getting that with higher return, you can probably expect higher risk also. Now, generally, people tend to think about risk on a very superficial level, which means they ask themselves, what could go wrong in this? And once they know what could go wrong or not, then they say, okay, either they make the investment or they don't. But at C.Paribus Management, we think about risk in a deeper way. And one of the ways we think about risk, especially risk for people who are not used to investing or making investments in general, we have an approach that we get from project management. And this is what we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves that in a lot of projects that you have in life, when you're attacking these projects or you're starting these projects, you have knowns. Knowns basically are the things that you know. You know that you're going to put your money, you're going to know that you're going to put $10,000 in a year, you're going to get $15,000 back. You're investing your money, let's say you're investing it in real estate or it's a car deal. There are things that you know. Also, we also have something that we call known unknowns. Known unknowns are the questions that you have. Basically, things that you know that you're supposed to know, but you don't necessarily have the answer in mind. For example, let's say we're supposed to get $15,000 in a year, but we have no idea how much money this deal is going to bring every month. We have no idea how they're actually going to pay us this $15,000 at the end. So we just know it's a great investment. We have no idea of cash flow, for example. And besides known unknowns, we have what we call unknown unknowns. And this is extremely important, and we think that this is where most of your risk is going to come from, especially when you're not used to making investments. In project management lingo, we call that UNC-UNCs. Maybe you want to keep that. Always remember that. UNC-UNCs. UNC-UNCs, unknowns, unknowns, are basically things that you don't know that you don't know. For example, let's say you were to make a real estate deal and they tell you that you're going to get $15,000 in a year, but what you don't know is that the market is at that point in the real estate cycle where you're going from hyper supply to a recession. Basically what that means, it means that rent is going to fall below average, right? So they might make a deal showing you how you would be getting a constant, people would be paying a constant rate for their rent. But what's happening is that you're going to a recession where there's going to be a lot of vacancies, rents are going to fall. You had no idea that this was a risk, right? So this is your unknown unknown. So when that happens, let's say you have an idea that, and that mostly happens when you have your known unknowns, right? Because you have no idea about your UNCs, like we just said. Now you should keep it in mind. But let's say you have some known unknowns. What you tend to do is you tend to call a friend. You call a friend who maybe has some experience, and then you ask this friend a few questions. Now, at C.Paribus Management, this is exactly what we want to do. We want to be that friend. We don't want to tell you what to think. We don't want to tell you what to think, but we want to tell you what we think about that deal. When we look at the numbers, when we look at the market in general, we want to tell you what we think and give you an opportunity for you to make your own decision. Now, I'm going to go into the second advice that I'm going to give you today in that video, and maybe you should remember that besides UNC, it's don't. These are the two other words that you should remember is don't. The reason is simple. If you don't understand where the money is coming from, if you don't understand the deal, then don't invest your money in it. If you don't understand it perfectly, don't invest your money in it. Don't. And again, at C.Paribus Management, we can help you better understand because we don't want you to financially fly blind into an investment or into a deal. Now, what do we do? At C.Paribus Management, we tend to charge an hourly rate. Usually it doesn't go above $100 per hour. It's going to depend on how much analysis that we have to make, how many numbers do we have to look at, how much research that we have to do. But our rates usually go from $25 if you just want a model, for example, and up to $100 if it's something that is more complicated. Now, you might tell yourself that, you know, we're going to pay this guy some money for a deal that we're going to make. But think about this. Let's take our particular deal. If you put $10,000 in an investment, and it's a very bad investment, you lose $10,000. You lose $10,000. But by having a conversation with us at C.Paribus Management, that $100 that you spend will give you the opportunity to either be very confident in that $10,000 investment that you're making, or simply realize that you don't have enough information to make that deal. So $100 could save you $10,000. It could save you $5,000. It could save you $2,000. So think about this. When you think about C.Paribus Management, think about, do I need to be more confident about that deal that I'm making? Or are there risks in play that I don't know about? Are there unks that I'm not taking into consideration? So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Again, I'm Alan, and I hope you'll watch our next presentation. Thank you.